Hello and welcome to another show of Keeping You Informed. I'm former Senator, former Mayor, Joseph Policina. It's good to be here. Good to be anywhere nowadays, right? At my age, I go like this. I wake up in the morning, if I feel that pulse, I know I'm in good shape. But we have a very special guest today. I want to thank you for coming. David Levesque, owner of Brood Awakenings, but also you've obviously taken on another duty, if you will, probably harder than the service industry that you're in, and that's called the League of Rhode Island Businesses, right?
That's correct.
So can you tell us what that's all about, how it started? I mean, it's yours, so let us know.
Yeah, it originally started during COVID when we tried to fight off a lot of the COVID nonsense.
Yeah.
Kind of sat idle since then, and then maybe about 11 months ago, we got contacted to try to get some information about the gun bill. And we reached out to Joe Shikachi, set up a meeting with about 22 people. And in that room, the speaker said, you got to basically, after everybody spoke and told them what their concerns were about not losing their freedoms and their rights to have guns, the speaker said, you got to put a group together. You got to be in it for the long haul. You got to fight. You got to raise money. You got to put candidates up. And you got to be part of the sausage making, not complaining at the end. And so since that point, we did. We formally started the League of Rhode Island Business Group. We had one original PAC when we started. We fought through the gun bill. When that was done, we decided to take it a different path and go after House and Senate seats and took it from there.
So we talk about the gun bill. So once again, I mean, obviously I'm a strong proponent of the Second Amendment, always have been when I was a senator, even as mayor. You know, I don't want to see machine guns on the street, to be honest with you. You know, I don't want to see cannons on the street or bazookas or hand grenades. But I mean, I think we have a Second Amendment in this country that people need to stick with, just the same way our First Amendment is just as important. All the amendments are important. But that being said, talk about the gun bill. What were the restrictions that they ended up passing, though, right? But you guys got them to water it down a little bit. I hate to use that term, water it down, but being a senator, I know all the jargon, you know.
Yeah, we were one of many groups that fought against this. The bill being proposed by Jason Knight at the time basically could have made anybody into a criminal. There's a particular attorney in our group. He made a great case that if he was driving down the street under Knight's new bill and he got pulled over and he couldn't prove where he had his gun from, and even if it was in his trunk of the car, then they would arrest him at that point, and he'd lose his attorney. He wouldn't be attorney anymore. He would lose his judgeship. That's how strict that particular gun bill was. So we did help get that defeated. There was another bill that put through. Still a lot of restrictions, but a lot less. You can still own many guns. So
this guy Knight wants to run for Attorney General. How scary is that? But that's another story.
It's extremely scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It really is. But I think the people are going to. I plan to have one of the people running. His name is, I believe his name is Hoffman. He works at the AGs. He seems like a real squared away guy. He's got the experience. But yeah, Jason Knight, I'd be frightened if he was our Attorney General, to be honest with you.
We'd agree with you.
So that's good to hear. So basically, then you've got roughly how many members? I mean.
Well, we've had probably 300 to 500 people that have donated to us over the past, call it like 6 months since we started this. Since that point, we started the 501c4, and then we also created a multiple of PACs in order to be a funding organization.
Sure. So obviously, if someone comes to you, you interview. How does that work? Let's say someone. So you're obviously looking at House and Senate members, right? Is that what you're looking at?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right.
We will only focus on the House and the Senate for this year, and do what we can to take out people that are not following the Constitution and supporting our freedoms and other stuff.
So it could be Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
In our group, we support anybody. We don't care whether you're Republican, Independent, Democrat. As long as you abide by the Constitution and using that as the framework, do what's right for your constituents, then we're going to be on the same page.
But how about the businesses that have been really hurt and destroyed in this state by taxes and energy costs and like we get. Listen, like I said before, I was in politics for 28 years, which is a long time. So I mean, I see it from both sides. But I think what's been happening over the years with the so-called green energy, people don't realize that there's going to be a price to pay for that eventually. But the rates keep going up and up and up and up and up. People are having difficult times as we speak. Heating bills. I mean, we're in a time now where it's not getting above 20 degrees. So what about the businesses that have been hurt, destroyed, closed down. Just a couple of businesses are closing down as we speak because of the bridge debacle.
Yep.
So what do you say for those businesses that are not members of your organization but want to be?
Yep. Well, I will tell you that, yes, the current administration, the people that are up there, the rules and laws that they propose, definitely hurting us. So you look at energy costs where you hear an average homeowner might have had a $200 bill, now it's $600, $800, or $900. Well, it's no different for a restaurant that might have had a $2,000 bill, now it's $6,000, $8,000, or $9,000 a month for energy cost. Obviously, the bridge is a big problem. You know, it distracts people from being able to come over. We've lost a lot of employees that lived over the bridge that can't work for us anymore.
Sure.
The bottom line is you got too many people up at the State House that don't understand business and how things work. It's easy to go up there and just start passing laws to think you can tax the rich and the wealthy.
Right.
And put all these regulations in. You know, there's nobody in Rhode Island that I've ever met that wants dirty air or dirty water, but you can't put these, you know, these massive laws and policies and procedures in and think that they're obtainable, and they're not. And they're literally destroying the business climate.
So now with the so-called millionaires tax, because of course they're desperate, they want more money, and now there's another group of progressives that want to put in a tax, $600,000 or $640. So what happens to a guy who's a physician, who we're on our hands and knees, and I can speak from a position of strength as a nurse, physicians are leaving left and right? We're begging these people to stay. So why would they stay and just get taxed to death? You know, if you get a physician, you know, whether it was a primary care, if he's making $600,000-$700,000, now he's got to pay his malpractice insurance. He's got to pay his office staff. He's got to pay for his medical school. I mean, do they understand? I guess the General Assembly doesn't understand by adding all of these taxes. Don't they realize people are going to leave? And they say, oh, no, they're not going to leave. They're going to leave. I spoke to two people that I know. By the way, I'm not a millionaire. I wish I was. If I was, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably be in Hawaii somewhere. But anyway, that being said, I talked to two people that, you know, they're wealthy. They worked hard all their life. They didn't get it from their parents. They said they're in Florida now. They spent 4 or 5. They're not coming back. Yeah. They're not coming. They're lock, stock, and barrel. You know, one's a business owner and he's contemplating on closing down his business. So I don't know how does that affect your businesses? The millionaires tax and the $640,000 tax. It
affects all businesses. Most of us have friends and family that have moved out of Rhode Island. They live in Florida 6 months, 1 day. They avoid the Rhode Island tax. We got a group of people up at the State House that are not looking to increase the tax base. They're looking to tax the base, and it's unacceptable. Whether you're a millionaire or you're making $640,000, you achieve something, and now they want to come after you. You got people up at the State House. You got a $14+ billion budget. You go back 5 years ago, it was what, $8 or $9 billion. And now it's $14+ billion. We said it was going to come back and they'd be at $15 billion in 2027. Well, they beat us to that. They're over $15 billion now in 2026. They don't even have the ability to control what they have now, the money they receive. $400 million shortfall. They can't tell you where a lot of the money goes. Yet they just want to keep coming back and back and back. Rhode Island shouldn't have a $14 billion budget. No. And we need smarter people up at the State House. There are way too many people up there that strongly don't know what they're doing.
Do you think that, so I hear it a lot of times on the radio, Tara Granahan, who I listen to all the time, and Gene Valicenti.
Yep.
I'm very big fans of them. And Tara always mentions the thing about an auditor general, not an auditor.
Yeah, they want an auditor general.
Auditor general, right.
To
oversee. What do you think about that? Independent auditor.
I think it's great, but you're not going to have leadership of the people up there support it until we make change in who sits in that General Assembly. You know, and that's the whole league mission, is to change who sits in the General Assembly. So
basically then, how do you raise money? You raise it because obviously it takes money to win. It also takes educating the voters, because many people seem to vote the same people back in. And, you know, listen, we're in Rhode Island, we got that mentality. Not my guy, not my good, they're okay. Yep. But that's collectively, they're not okay in some instances. Right, what you're saying. So how do you raise money? What do you do to raise money?
Well, we raise money through asking people to donate. Individuals, businesses, whether it's $100 or it's $1,000. Because we formed 40 PACs, 40 political action committees, we literally have the ability to raise unlimited amounts of money. And we have the ability to put $1 million on the table every single year just to help candidates. So we could give every single candidate, if we chose to, up to 80 grand a year. There's no other political organization in the state of Rhode Island that can do that. So it gives us an immense control and power as we raise the money. How do we raise the money? We're literally knocking on doors. We're talking to business people. We're talking to people that have invested interest in staying in Rhode Island. If they own a business, they're getting either hit with the estate tax or the millionaire's tax, or now the $640,000 tax, and then it'll be the $250 tax, and then it'll be the $100,000 tax.
Right.
It'll never stop. These guys keep coming and coming and coming and coming. So there are a lot of good people in Rhode Island that want to see Rhode Island be successful. The only way of fixing it, it's not who goes in the governor's seat, it's who sits in the House and who sits in the Senate. And that's what we're going after.
So here's another thing. So how does a business person, I know you've been threatened to your business, all right?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yep.
Correct to say by a representative?
Yeah, Julie Casimiro threatened me.
So she threatened. So the mob used to do that years ago.
Yeah, I think she might be part of that.
But that's shocking when I heard that,
Yep.
and I heard her comments. I think John Laughlin played it on his show.
Yep.
And I heard that, and I was driving. I almost drove off the road. Like, that's ridiculous because you're against a person's beliefs. I mean, this is last time I checked, this is the United States of America. Yep. And for her to threaten you like that, but not you saying, well, I'm going to make sure that you never get elected. She's threatening your livelihood.
Correct.
She's threatening people that work for you, that depend on your business to stay focused, to stay vibrant.
Yep.
I mean, was she ever reprimanded for that, or did anyone say anything to her for that, or she's just...
No, that's the sad part, because really, if someone threatens a business, especially a House rep or a senator threatens a business...
That's scary.
It is very scary, and leadership on both sides should have done something about it. She should have publicly been humiliated, if not tossed out.
Or apologized.
Or apologized. Well, I can tell you Julie will not be running in this next election. She's moving out of the state from what we hear. But even if she tries to stay in, we will have somebody to fight her off and take over that seat.
Good.
But it's unfortunate that you don't have more people up at the State House that say, hey, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know, you can disagree with what we're doing. You can disagree with maybe our political beliefs and say, hey, I don't agree with them. I'm going to go a different route. But to politically come out and threaten a business is bad. Just this past weekend on social media, some documents from the Democratic Party were released, and it's a hit piece on about 60-plus restaurants, and ours being one of them, of not to support because you're either a Trump supporter or you're a Republican or whatever. So it's bad politics, and I'll tell you that we're going to continue to go after these people. We're going to fight back harder than ever before.
So as a lifelong Democrat, which I am,
Yep.
Obviously my son's the mayor of Johnston, he's a Democrat. And I'll probably die as a Democrat. But I've got friends of mine that I've actually lost as friends because now they're telling me that they were lifelong Democrats and they're changing. Well, why do you want to change? They said, this is what they said. They said that it appears now that the Democrats, especially on the national level, they support criminals. And we can't get into that. And these people, some of them were very liberal Democrats at one time. They started moving towards the middle, and they're middle Democrats. And that's what you're seeing. You know, most of the Democrats on a national level, they support. Listen, I have a different view. This is my view about illegal aliens. I think if you're in this country, been here for a while, paying taxes, the government should try and help you work towards citizenship. That's my opinion. But if you're a criminal, like if you stole a loaf of bread, if you held up a gas station, out.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. You know, opinions are like noses. We all have one. Yeah. But my point being is, I don't, the Democrats, if you differ with them nowadays, they kind of lambaste you and they come out like they're coming after your business. And once again, this Casimiro, is that her name?
Julie Casimiro.
She's not running anymore, so maybe that's a good thing.
Well, she's not telling anybody, but we got the inside scoop. She's not. She's building a house, I think, down in South Carolina or something. But she won't be running. I guarantee you she won't be running.
She don't like the taxes, maybe, huh? The high. Where does she live?
The taxes and now the pressure we're putting on her. You know.
Good.
Yep.
I mean, listen, I've had differences with Republicans. A lot of Republicans are my friends. I've had differences with Democrats. But you don't. I mean, there comes to a point where you don't threaten. We walk away. We'll argue. We'll fight. I'll buy them a beer. They'll buy me a cranberry juice because I don't drink. Yep. And that's it. But it's getting bad now. It
is getting bad. And there are a lot of great Democrats in the state of Rhode Island that do a lot of great things. But there's the far left progressive that has hijacked that party, and they're not standing up as much as they should to defend their own party, and they've hijacked it. We're supporting more Democrats than we are Republicans.
Really? So let's talk about that. That's
Yep.
a good thing to know.
Yep.
So this isn't a Democrat, Republican, or Independent
Absolutely
thing,
not.
your organization.
It's for us. It's all about the people. It's people over party. We don't care about Republican, Democrat, or Independent parties at all. Okay. We don't talk about them. We never have in our group, and we won't. Okay. We look at the individual.
Sure.
Is somebody like Leah Beauclair that's down in District 35 that's going to run against Tina Spears, who's far left, wants to take away guns and freedoms and all the other stuff. She's a Democrat. She's a lifelong Democrat.
Sure.
She's running down there. She's a 2A girl. She's a business person. She understands it. She gets it. And she's going to do what's right for her constituents based on that Constitution that we talked about. We then jump forward to Mark Mesrobian. He's running against Alana DiMario. And this is where I say, and you mentioned it earlier, a lot of people say, not my backyard. Not my guy. My guy's a good guy. I didn't pay attention. Somebody got elected. Alana DiMario got elected, and then nobody opposed her, and she went in again, and now she's trying to go in again. It'd be fine if she did the job, but she's not doing the job based on the Constitution and the people of Rhode Island. She's doing the job based on her own agenda, and that's unacceptable. So we got Mark Mesrobian in District 36 running as a pro-business Democrat against Alana DiMario. He will win that seat. He's a Democrat. Leah's a Democrat. But they're good, strong people. Right. They're not far left.
Right.
That's what we need up in
or far right.
Or far right. There are some people on the far right that we won't support.
Okay. And it's funny, too, because I know the Democrats, the progressives are pushing the climate change stuff. Now, let me say this. I can look at the camera with a straight face and say, in Johnston, we had the 8 wind turbines that Democrats were against. We had solar farms, lots of them solar farms, that Democrats were against, the progressive Democrats were against. So I have a saying, because I've been doing this for a while, but also been in the medical field for a long time. This year's going to be 51 years since I started as a firefighter and nurse, 40-something years.
Long time.
You can't be half pregnant. You can't be half pregnant. These people, they want climate change, but yet they don't want the solar farms. They don't want the winter. And I get it. But you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Let's talk about the wall, not the wall in here. Let's talk about the wall.
The wall's pretty cool.
Which is something that you've put together, right? Why don't you explain to the people what the wall is, how they can view it?
Yep. So you can go to lorib.org or theleagueofrhodeislandbusiness.com in order to view it. And on our webpage, we have this one page called The Wall. And the wall ended up being a location where if there's anybody up at the State House, a sitting representative in either the House or the Senate, that we feel needs to be challenged and they shouldn't be there anymore, they get put on the wall. So if you're sitting up there and your name's on the wall, it means we're coming after you, and there's a good chance we're going to primary you and take you out of your seat. We're going to try to do most of our fighting in the primary.
Okay.
We can do it with less resources. We can do it with fewer people, and we got a quicker chance to get somebody out of that seat. And then as we support somebody, as somebody becomes a candidate, we have 2 different types of candidates. We get supported and endorsed. A supported candidate means somebody that we align with. We like what they do. We like what they stand for. We think they got a good shot at taking the race and putting a good fight on, but they got a lot of work to do. It's not a slam dunk. When we find a candidate that we know that's endorsed, that we endorse, we know that we got a really good shot at winning this race. We're looking like we got a better team than them. We got a great candidate, and all the things are going to align. That's Leah Beauclair. That's Mark Mesrobian. That's Vanessa Lopez. That's Kevin Hoyle. So those are 4 people right now that are fully endorsed on our league. We'll do everything we can to raise money for those people and put them on. So if you're on the wall and you're sitting up at that State House, either House or Senate, be sure that we're coming after your seat and we're going to take you out.
So when you're talking about resources, right? That's available to these people that you decide if obviously the Rhode Island Business League decides that they want to endorse these people, will they help them with manpower and woman power as far as at the polls, or do they have to get their own people?
So what we're doing as a group, which is different than most, and you don't get this out of a lot of the other parties, because we don't care about party. We get everybody coming together.
Right.
And we got Republicans and Democrats on our team that are candidates working together, talking together. It's not about division. It's not about, I can't talk to a Republican or Democrat.
Exactly.
We do.
Exactly.
This is what it was before. Sure. This is what we're going to bring back to the table now. So we'll help them fundraise. We'll help them set up a campaign. We'll help them with their messaging. We'll help them when it comes time to doing doing a ground game, early voting, ballot harvesting, all of that stuff we're going to work on with every single candidate. Now, we're not running their race, but we're going to make sure that they are running the best race they possibly can, and we'll give them as many resources as we can possibly.
Does that include bodies to help campaign door to
That'll
door?
include bodies to help campaign,
That's
walk the beat. I've already done it with Mark Mesrobian.
Yeah.
You know, just before the cold winter set in, we went walking some of the different places in Narragansett to talk to people, shake hands, tell people, introduce Mark. So yeah, we'll be doing that on an aggressive stance.
The people you've spoken to door to door, you think they're tired of what's going on? Would you get that feeling that they're tired of the current person that's in that seat, whether it's House or Senate?
I think most people are tired. I think even people that have not yet aligned with us are tired too. You know, you give you some examples. You talk about the whole climate thing and trying to meet this, goal by 2050 of being, zero emissions or whatever they want to call it. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody's electric bill, one of the highest in the country, has gone through. You're just killing people. You're destroying this state instead of building it up. There's ways we can meet all those things and do them when you get businesses involved and you let it naturally work. But when you enforce all these things, you just destroy businesses. Here's another perfect example. I had a gentleman send me a copy of a bill. He thought he was doing the right thing buying a new EV car. So he goes out, buys a brand new Cadillac EV car, puts the charger in his house, spends the extra money on the car, spends the extra money on the charger. He's going to save the money on the gas tax, only to realize instead of registering his car and have a small bill of $100 and some dollars, now it's $665.55. The guy was in a full-blown panic. Well, we're doing that because you're not paying the gas tax, so we're going to come get you another way. Then we're going to hit you with the tolls. We're going to hit the truck tolls. That's just a $50 million tax on individuals in Rhode Island. And then it's trucks now. It will be cars next. Anybody that thinks it's not going to be cars next, don't be fooled. It will be.
But I noticed that the McKee administration is waiting till next year after the election.
Of course they are. They're politicians. That's why we need to expose them. There should be no truck tolls going up. I mean, maybe you want to tax at the beginning of the state and tax at the end of the state coming in. Maybe you do that. But you're going to tax all the people coming in and out of the business going out. We got businesses that do 80 to 90% of their business outside the state. They don't need to stay here.
No.
They can move all their trucks out. And if they do, then you're going to lose the gas tax that they spend here.
Yep.
You're going to lose the service and repairs that they spend here. You lose the warehouses. You lose the people. You lose the staff. Literally, the people up at the State House, both House and Senate side, a lot of them, are destroying the state inside. Yep. Inside out, they're destroying it.
It's funny you mentioned the electric vehicle because my wife had a Tesla. A couple of years, we put the charging unit in our house and everything, and then the electricity was just as much as gas. It was convenient to plug it in, then go now in this weather to fill up with gas. But then the administration decides, the governor decides he wants to put a tax on electric vehicles. And I said, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. You want people to buy, because we're not buying the gas now. You want to save on gas. You don't want obviously emissions in the air. So it just makes no sense.
Well, it makes no sense because you got people up at the State House, and I don't care how hard they tell you they work on a budget or what they do. When you got a $14+ billion budget and you can't balance your books, you have a spending problem. We used to be 8 or 9. We should be back down close to that. We need to get to that. It's only going to happen if we change who sits in the House and Senate, where people make the hard calls.
When I was in the Senate, it was $3 billion. So it was like 2.7, and it went up.
We should live within our means. You look at a lot of these. You'll hear people say a lot of the social programs. Most of the social programs that are needed could be done, could be challenged, could be talked about, could be worked through, if you had a state that ran on its budget. If you had a state that was building pro-business. We just came out bottom 50. We're last.
Yeah. So as far as the social programs, I believe in a lot of the social programs, but I think there's a lot of fraud.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And for some reason, nobody in the state wants to do anything about it. I think I'll be honest with you, I think if you went after the fraud, the people on these social programs that rely on this would welcome it. Because, I mean, a lot of times they take the brunt of the insults and so forth, but a lot of people need help. And we're a society that we have to help people, and I get it. But it's the fraud that's going on that people don't want to seem to touch the fraud, but that's another show that I'll have and we'll talk about. So you're raising money now as we speak. If someone wants to give a donation, a check, whatever, I'm old. Venmo, stuff like that. So how can they go about doing stuff?
Well, the best way to donate to the league is to go on our website. And when you open up our website, there'll be a page that first pops up and you'll see a bunch of files on it. That's a campaign that we put together that somebody can donate and they won't be targeted. Meaning you can donate right now, it's going to grow because we're adding more packs. We got 40 that we have now. You can donate from $200 all the way up to $9,900, and nobody other than the Board of Elections will know that you donated. It's totally secret, it's totally confidential, it's aggregate, just the same way the unions do it. So up to $9,900, you could personally donate, and no one would ever know you gave a dime.
But don't you have to list the names of the donors?
Not at all. So as long as you're under $200 or less, the Board of Elections does not require you to list somebody's name. Once you go to $200.01, you do. Well, with 40 packs, at $9,900, that would put $198 into all 40 packs, and then it would put 10% into the 501c4 of, and then that's the difference. So you'll fall $2.01 below what would be the requirement for me to expose your name, but you would have funded all 40 packs.
I see. So
that's the way we do it. We suggest anybody that's going to donate to us, unless you don't care about being exposed, use the campaign where you can donate $200 or less, and our combined campaign is one of those if you can donate that kind of money.
So if you want to donate $500,
yep,
and you don't want to be exposed, can you donate a check for $500 to the organization and you'll put it in different accounts?
No, that you can't do.
Okay.
The money cannot go into one account and then be transferred. There are strict rules and regulations under the Board of Election.
Right.
So if you're going to donate, you go on to the LeagueOfRhodeIslandBusiness.com, you look up that campaign in aggregate to be able to donate, and if you put $500 in, it'll divide it up automatically and put only a few dollars into every single pack, and then 10% into the 501c4.
Okay. So let's talk about you feel confident, obviously, that you're going to be successful getting some people elected. You need more people to run. Could you use more people to say, hey, you know what, I like your organization? Do you sit down and interview them? You decide they're a candidate for District 000, I'll use that. How does that work? If someone, someone watching tonight, they want to.
Yeah, so here's another thing that the league is doing. We're not waiting for you in your district, whether it's like take Narragansett where I live. We're not waiting for Narragansett to find a candidate. We're going out into that district to find a candidate. And we're doing this all across the state of Rhode Island. Do we need more people to jump in? Absolutely we do. As we continue to grow this organization, people are voluntarily calling us. We're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 phone calls a week of people that want to be candidates. Now, not everybody can. They may not have the talent. They might not be the right person. Maybe their values don't align. But those that do, we will step up. We will back them. We will endorse them. We hope to have at least 3 more to announce within the next week. And if that happens, we got another good fight on our hand.
Great. So we got about a minute left. I just want to, first of all, thank you for coming on. And I got to tell you, I commend you and the other businesses that obviously, can't take it anymore, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, businesses are really hurting. And the small business like you run, listen, Amazon's great. I brought Amazon in. By the way, we'll have another show on that. Other people are trying to take credit for Amazon on the state level. I'm telling you, believe it or not, there's only one person on the state level, 2 people. Sakachi helped us, but also Gina Raimondo helped us.
Yep.
So there's other people trying to take credit for Amazon, not true. But small businesses like you're the pulse of businesses, of people employed. So I appreciate your businesses. I appreciate the other small businesses that obviously are out there struggling every day because it's not easy. It's very difficult. So I want to thank you for coming on. Hopefully I'll get to have you back. And quickly, you have a meeting coming up? Is that what,
we got a meeting. We got a meeting coming up with all of our candidates and politicians and all of the group. That'll be coming up next week. We're not going to tell people the location. We don't need to be harassed on that.
Right.
But we also have our first year anniversary, February 23rd at the Event Factory. Will be our biggest event.
Great. And it's a fundraiser too to help.
It'll be a fundraiser for the League of Rhode Island Businesses, and it'll be just a time to meet a lot of our candidates and politicians. And once again, because we have 40 packs, we literally have the ability to raise an unlimited amount of money and put $1 million on the table this year. We raise it directly into the hands of candidates to get people elected. So if you're thinking about running, give us a call. If you couldn't fundraise before, we'll help you. If you didn't know how to run a campaign, we'll help you.
Number to call. Real quickly.
No number. Contact on the website is the best way to do it.
Thank you. Thank you again for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, it's up to you.
Thank you.
Decide if you're obviously unhappy with what's going on in the state. You have a chance to not use your feet and leave the state, but we want to see you vote. Until next time, I'm Joe Policina, keeping you informed. Thank you.